Good morning, students. This is Mrs. Morgan with Chapter 1, Section 4, Distributive Property. After this lesson, you will be able to evaluate and simplify expressions using the distributive property. What is the distributive property? It's like Angry Birds with algebra using multiplication. And it looks like this. You'll have an expression 6 times m plus 5. Well, the 6 gets bounced and multiplied with the m plus 5. So we have 6 times m, the plus just stays in the middle, and we have 6 times 5. And we go ahead and simplify that. 6 times m is 6m plus 30. You will be asked to use the distributive property to rewrite each expression, then simplify or evaluate. So in number 1, we have this expression, and the first thing we're going to do is take 3 times 2 plus 3 times 5, which is 6 plus 15, and that is 21. Our next example, we have -7 and in parentheses 3w minus 5. The -7 goes to the 3w. Now, -7 times 3 w, our minus stays in the middle, and we have -7 times 5. And let's clean this up. -7 times 3 is -21, and the w just stays right there as multiplication. Our minus sign stays right in the middle. -7 times 5 is -35. And this is correct. Your book might put this in parentheses, or you could do my favorite subtracting negatives, and our first number just stays the same. Minus a negative is the same thing as plus a positive. And so that's as simplified as that's going to get. Our last example here is, well, it's in 3 parts. It has 3 terms, and we're just going to multiply the 4 with each thing that we see. So 4 times y squared is 4y squared. 4 times 8y, well, 4 times 8 is 32, and the y just stays put. And the 4 times the 2 is 8. And for now, this is our final answer because each number has a different variable part attached to it. This has a y squared, this has a plain y, and this has, well, this is just 8. So this is our final answer. And we're going to move on. We're going to simplify each expression if possible. If not, we'll write simplified. -17a plus 21a. Well, they both have an a on it, so we can combine them by adding the numbers out front. Ooh. Those are called coefficients. Coefficient, the number in front. Back to this. -17 plus +21 comes out to +4, and the variable just stays the same, so 4a. In our next example, there's a couple of things going on. We have 4 times in parentheses 3b squared minus 2b plus this 6b squared on the end. Now, the distributing only happens to the part in parentheses. So 4 times 3b squared is 12b squared. Our minus sign comes right down, and 4 goes to 2b. 4 times 2b is 8b. And we're done distributing because we're only distributing to what's in parentheses. So this plus 6b squared just comes right down. Now, when I look at this, I have two terms that have the same variable, here and here, these b squareds. I can combine those, and I'm going to go ahead. This is 12b squared and a positive 6b squared, so that comes out to be 18b squared. And the minus 8b is just going to come right down because they have to have the exact same variable if I'm going to put them together. Otherwise, they stay separate. So this is my final answer here. This next example, 3x squared plus 6x plus 7. Well, looking at the variable parts, or lack thereof, there's nothing that I can combine, so this is an example of simplified. And lastly, the word problem. And I can just hear you saying to yourselves, I am not writing all that. It is 1, 2, 3 sentences. Write it down. Ms. Oberly walks 5 days a week. She walks at a fast rate for 7 minutes, then cools down for 2 minutes. How many minutes does she walk in a week? Well, I know that each walk has a 7-minute fast segment plus a 2-minute cool down segment. So I'm going to find that answer, and she walks 5 days each week. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to distribute. 5 times 7 is that 35. Our plus comes right down. 5 times 2 is 10. So we have 45 minutes each week. And that is your lesson on the distributive property.